What if I told you the most trusted watch in space almost never made it to the moon? Today, Omega is one of the most famous watch brands in the world. Astronauts wear it. Olympic champions trust it. Even James Bond wears it. But behind this luxury image, there is a story almost nobody talks about. A story of risk, failure, and survival. This is the untold story of Omega. The Omega story began in 1848. A young watchmaker named Louis Brandt started a small workshop in La Chaux-de-Fonds. But here is the surprising part. Omega did not start as a luxury brand. Louis Brandt was actually assembling watches from parts made by different craftsmen. Then he traveled across Europe selling them. Slowly, his watches became popular. But when Louis Brandt died, many people believed the business would disappear. Instead, his two sons decided to change everything. In 1894, the Brandt brothers created a revolutionary watch movement. It was called Omega. Why was it special? Because it was extremely precise and very easy for watchmakers to repair. This movement became so successful that the company eventually changed its name to Omega, but the real challenge was still ahead. In 1932, Omega made a bold decision. They became the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games. The event was the 1932 Summer Olympics. At that time, this was a huge risk. Why? Because measuring time in sports required extreme precision. Even a fraction of a second could change the winner. Omega sent just one watchmaker and 30 chronographs to measure all Olympic events. A very small team. But the result shocked the world. The timing was perfect, and Omega became famous for precision. Now comes the most incredible part of the story. In the 1960s, NASA needed a watch for astronauts. But they did not ask watch brands to design one. Instead, they secretly bought watches from stores and tested them. The tests were brutal: extreme heat, freezing temperatures, violent shocks, strong vibrations. Many famous brands failed. Only one watch survived, the Omega Speedmaster. In 1965, NASA officially approved it for space missions. Then came one of the most historic moments in human history, the Apollo 11 moon landing. Astronaut Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin traveled to the moon. But something unexpected happened. Armstrong left his watch inside the spacecraft as a backup timer. So the first watch worn on the moon was actually Buzz Aldrin's Omega Speedmaster. That moment changed Omega forever. From that day, the watch became known as the Moon Watch. But success did not last forever. In the 1970s, a new technology appeared: quartz watches from Japan. Brands like Seiko were producing extremely accurate watches for a much lower price. Many Swiss watch companies collapsed. Omega almost disappeared. The entire Swiss watch industry was in danger. Then, something unexpected happened. In the 1980s, a group of investors saved several Swiss brands. They created what would later become the Swatch Group. Omega was part of this rescue. The brand reinvented itself. New designs, better marketing, and a powerful partnership with James Bond starting in the movie GoldenEye. Suddenly, Omega was everywhere again. Today, Omega is one of the most respected watch brands in the world. It still times the Olympic Games. Its watches travel to space, and collectors around the world search for vintage Omega models. But the real secret behind Omega is simple. It survived because it adapted. From a small workshop in Switzerland to the surface of the moon. So the next time you see an Omega watch, remember, it is not just a luxury watch. It is a watch that survived space missions, global crises, and the near death of the Swiss watch industry. And maybe the most incredible part of the story is this: the watch that went to the moon was never originally designed for space.